Are they actually?
Hey everyone,
Ourselves
Commander
for the
Josh
past 10
Hawkins
minutes?
here, and welcome to the Brocast.
Is it on now?
Is this thing on? Holy crap!
Oh no!
Have
Did we
we?
just talk 8 minutes without being actually on
Oh
the
my
show?
God! Hey everyone, welcome to the Brocast. That was interesting.
That was good.
Way to start the new
Is
year.
that seriously what happened? Have we? Okay, so we've been streaming and talking to ourselves for the past 8 minutes, not
Yep.
streaming.
Oh wow! What a goof.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
now we're
start this
talking.
You
over.
didn't miss anything.
Hey, everyone.
Oh,
Welcome
that's
to the
embarrassing.
Brocast. It's 3 p.m. No, actually, it's like 3:08 or 3:09, and we just been talking to ourselves for the past 8 minutes. My name's Commander Josh Hawkins, the screwball who doesn't know how to hit start streaming on OBS Studio. I am joined by Commander Greatest
Hello, Liam, for the second time.
and Commander Turgeon Starstone.
I have this terrible feeling of deja vu.
It's just like deja vu. You guys would not believe the incredible
Josh,
start to
can you
our
just-
New Year's that
can you
we've
just-
had.
Can you just play back what we just recorded? You know?
I wish we could. Honestly, here we are starting off the
get
New
a coffee
Year's
while
with
you're
a
playing back.
complete screwball move on my part. We thought we were streaming for the past 8 minutes because I guess when I clicked the start streaming button and we started the stream, we didn't actually click the button. So we've been talking to ourselves.
You didn't actually click the button.
I
Royal
didn't.
we.
Yes, we as in I. That's we as in Commander Josh Hawkins.
But he's a bit quiet.
No, I'll sort that. Don't
Okay.
deal with it. Hold on.
Happy New Year, everyone! Welcome to the
Right, how's that?
Brocast.
That should be better.
I
Happy
hear.
New Year, indeed.
I hear all of you guys just fine. It's great to see you all. I'm glad you guys were sitting around waiting for the show to start. I had no idea
Yeah.
we hadn't started. We had a very interesting discussion up until now. I gotta say, you missed out on a lot of great stuff.
Oh yeah,
but we're
such interest. Yeah.
but we're gonna start this over and give you guys
Let's do it short. Let's sum it up quick. We all had very uneventful New Year's and Christmas, and we're looking forward to, the next few broadcasts with you guys.
That's basically what we talked about. We talked about our New Year's, which unfortunately there wasn't really a whole lot to discuss.
So
we're
we've saved you that. So that's nice. You've missed that, which is good. Trust me. There wasn't anything to hear.
No, there really wasn't anything to hear. We are a bunch of very uneventful guys that like to relax on our New Year's. We did the normal things like, Great Test.
Lots of food.
Drove around and played a little bit of Elite Dangerous. Turgeon basically did much of the same except for the driving part. And I saw some family and did a little bit of shopping and that's pretty much it. But welcome back to the show. It feels like it's been forever since we were here. Since we missed last week, we weren't broadcasting for the New Year's. Balrog says he had a near-death experience in North Yorkshire ditch, still nursing the injuries. My goodness, that sounds pretty bad. Near-death and he's smiling about it too. He's like, I had a near-death experience.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. Oof, my goodness, wow. Jacob Hayden saying Illuminati talk for the first 8 minutes confirmed. Yep, that's it. We were conspiring.
Yes. Yeah, probably surrounded by Yorkshiremen there going, it's just a scratch, lads. It's just a scratch. What's the matter with you? What are you complaining about? Your leg's over there. It's not far. Go and get it, lads.
So
That's what it's like.
I'm curious though. Did I even hit the start button at all, or we literally? I mean, was there even like a split second
happened,
of it?
No.
Nothing.
Nothing happened.
So
I only have one notification 4 minutes ago on my cell phone, so that's the only time the stream actually started.
Okay, well, let's give a quick announcement as to what the hell we're going to be doing on this show, because, gosh, I mean, it's weird when you do 8 minutes of talking and you think you're live streaming and you find out that you're not actually live streaming. So
yeah, you have to recall what you have to say again.
Yeah, quick intro for everyone. So here's what we're going to be doing today, as you can see from the title bar down there, or whatever the hell it is. down here. We are welcoming in the new year, 3304 in Elite Dangerous, with a little bit of exploration tutorials. We're going to talk about the different ships you could fly, what makes a great exploration vessel. We'll talk about some engineering stuff. Greytest is going to tell us a little bit about the Enigma Expedition in just a short little while here, which is an upcoming expedition we hope to see you guys all get involved with as well. And in the meantime, you're going to have to watch me figure out where the hell I stored my fuel scoop so that I can make my way over to Meredith Station, and we can actually maybe take a look at some of these exploration things. So let's see, I do have a fuel scoop. Here it is. 9 minutes. Can I see where that thing is stored? It says stored, but that's all it shows.
And yeah, the question has come up in chat. I just want to get that out of the way for now.
Yeah.
Yes, Shibuka has sort of retired from the broadcast. He is not going to be a host of the show again anymore.
Well, for a while.
But he will, for a while at least. We'll see how his life goes. He has family priorities, which is totally okay. And he's still going to be around on Discord, though. So if you need something from him, he'll still be there from time to time. Yes. He's just not going to be on the show for the near future.
It is a sad fact, unfortunately, that real life does take priority over our virtual lives over here, and the Brocast is, I gotta say, I mean, even though we only do it once a week, it's quite consuming, the amount of work that we actually do in sitting here for a couple hours. So it's understandable. You know, he's got a new baby there, he's got a family now. And that's got to be his priority. He's got to put his focus where it's required. But we will miss him, and I'm sure he'll pop in from time to time, so don't worry, you'll see Shibuka. In fact, I hear he's starting his own stream. It's called the Shibuka Cast, so...
Oh, competition. Ooh. I don't like it.
Yeah, that's it. We'll have to tear down that Shibuka Cast. No, maybe Shibuka will do some live streaming of his own, continue his channel at some point in the future, but we'll keep you posted, and I'm sure we'll see him pop in.
Sorry, who was that guy you're talking about?
Shabubu.
Nope, don't ring any bells.
IRWD155.
Yeah. Used to be around. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
You remember that guy?
Yeah, sort of.
So
yeah.
while you're figuring out your stuff there, because I see Commander Dov Enigma 13 in chat right now. Cheers, mate.
Oh, right, is he?
Glad to see you. Thanks for joining in. Let me talk about that upcoming expedition.
You want to start on that right away? Sure.
What else do you want to talk about?
Well, I kind of wanted to ask the folks in chat how their New Year's were. If you had any interesting stories to tell about your New Year's, we'd love to hear it in chat. Let's talk about that for a little bit before we get into the expedition, because we've got, what, 100+ people watching the show? We love to hear from you. Tell us about your New Year's. Did you have something interesting happen? I mean, a near-death experience, Balrog. Give us a little bit more info here. What the heck is that all about?
He says, I was so drunk I thought I would walk home. The ditch had other ideas.
What does he say? Well, if you saw something resembling Swamp Thing staggering down the road smelling like a cow's arse, that was me.
Oh my god.
Fear not, I am reborn from the abyss. Here I was thinking near death in Elite Dangerous. Now I think he's actually talking about like real near death.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So what happened? He was in a ditch. Was it a car in a ditch, or did you just fall into the ditch in a drunken stupor?
Stumbled down the side.
Yeah, so drunk, I thought I'd walk home. And he had other ideas. He says, "Yeah, it's a lot of the sort of roads up in North Yorkshire, it's just like a bit of tarmac, and then it just sort of like falls off to either side of the road, and it's fields, and there's a hedge maybe there somewhere, but between the road and the tarmac, there's quite often."
Jacob Hayden says, "I slept through the new year. Best one yet." That's quite a feat, yeah, not bad.
Let me know.
That's even more quiet than we had.
IR-WD155 here. Hang on one second. I just have to remember this. IR-WD155, Pleiade sector.
I think the road ditched you.
Rum and Northern Beach. No, that's not a good combo.
IR-WD1-55. Oh, do I have to put in Pleiade sector? How come I can't just put that in?
But that's probably a good question. Did you guys get anything good for Christmas? Anything gaming related?
Swag,
a new hardware, new setup, new games? Anything? Let us know.
I'm sure we all fell foul of the Steam sale. And
I actually wished for a new microphone. To have something better than the one on the headset, like a Blue Yeti you can put on the desk somewhere.
New microphones scare me a little bit, because as soon as someone picks up a new mic, I don't recognize them anymore. I'd be like, who are you?
But I mean, I can't be that bad with me, so I wished for that, but I didn't get it, so I'm gonna have to get one in the near future for myself.
You're not the greatest I know and love. Who are you?
Okay.
You're safe from me doing that today because I don't have the soundboard running.
Here, let's just take a quick peek at this station before I hop on out of here. This is a station that we were rescuing people from because it was attacked by the Thargoids. And before I fly on out of here, oh, of course, all my key bindings are reset. Don't ask me why. What's the default key binding for going into external camera?
F1, I think.
F1? Nope.
Control Alt space.
Is it? Control Alt space.
For me, it's F1.
It is.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I actually rebound my controls.
So. Oh god.
Mine's actually the thumb button on the mouse, but yeah, it's Control Alt space.
Okay, all of my key bindings are gone, so I don't even know how to flip around here. But
tell you what, after Christmas I moved my whole Elite Dangerous installation over to my SSD. And it still kept everything. Like, I had to log into the game anew, and that wasn't safe. But the key bindings, graphics settings, everything else was completely safe. Actually, pretty good.
Well, you guys were here when I first started the game before. For some reason, it wasn't detecting my joystick, and then when I went into the key bindings and set up just X52, of course, it reset everything. And so I have nothing set up, and this is a row.
Well, have fun, enjoy.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to do much of it. Scorb is just reminding you that there's a great tutorial on YouTube about that by this weird Josh Hawkins fellow.
True that.
Key bindings.
Yeah, I don't really want to do that right now, but I do want to just show off the station just from the side of the screen. You can see they've got scaffolding all over it where once there were giant holes.
That's
yep, I'm out in the Pleiades.
Yeah, Titan's daughter.
Yeah, this is Titan's daughter that you can see on the side of the screen here, just peeking out the corner. It does look...
when it's on fire, though. More colours when it's on fire.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, I guess...
Jamie Vox got a GTX 1080 Ti for Christmas. Now, that's a nice present I would like to have as well.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
I saw on Reddit someone
Nice
had...
one, Rav. Nice one. Your joystick is too small, Josh, hence not detected.
Oh!
That is not what she said. They don't call me Commander for nothing.
Yeah, sorry, Powerhouse. We know 30 minutes in.
Must be cold in Canada if you can't detect your joystick. Okay, you want to talk about cold? Let me tell you that just the other day, and this was the day before New Year's Eve, I wanted to take my wife out to the Old Port in Montreal here. They have a big event every New Year's. It's a giant outdoor New Year's celebration. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people that come from all over the place. Canadians, Americans, people from other countries. Anyone who's in Montreal goes to the Old Port. They have a big outdoor show. They've got live bands. They've got fireworks. You know, the whole kit and caboodle that you see pretty much in every city for New Year's Eve, like, ooh, hoopla. Anyhow, extreme weather warning popped up for Quebec and central Quebec and southern Quebec regions. Minus 38 degrees, hypothermia warnings, exposed
Fahrenheit?
skin freezes. No, Celsius, which I think equates to almost the same thing in Fahrenheit. I think minus 38 is around...
Must be close to the absolute zero of Fahrenheit, yeah.
It's very close to minus 38 in Fahrenheit as well. But interestingly enough, it wasn't just for one day.
31, so there you go.
It's
minus 35 is minus 31.
And it's minus 34 degrees out today. Yesterday was about minus 38. It's cold, okay? Canada's a cold place.
And all the Americans complain about like 1 degree Fahrenheit or so.
Oh, yeah. General Ghost says plus 15 degrees there. 15 degrees is really nice. You know, when it's minus 38, and this is Canadian mentality. I was talking to my chiropractor that I went to see yesterday, and he goes, "Oh, well, it's going to be warmer tomorrow. It's supposed to be minus 12." And I was thinking, you know, only in Canada do we think minus 12 is warm.
Yes. Yeah, I've got a Canadian friend that talks that way as well. Oh, it was only minus. Yeah.
And it wasn't minus 12. That was pure bullshit. It was nowhere near minus 12. It was minus 20 on my car dashboard, and it actually was more. Well, I think it was minus 38 with the wind chill again. So, yeah, not warm.
Commander Machine says, "I bet the postman still wears shorts."
When it goes to minus 12, people might go out in t-shirts. I mean, oh, hey, it's a nice day out today. Oh crap! Which station do I have my stuff stored at? Probably the Oracle. The fact that the Oracle has that icon on it is making me a little nervous. Does that mean it's under repair? Does that mean that I won't be able to access anything in there?
It's
no. Some services maybe.
I hope if outfitting is available, then my stored modules are there, and I could start making my way over to Meredith City. Unless there's a closer station where we can go that has a bunch of ships and modules that we can show off. Any thoughts? Any ideas?
So out that way.
Say again? Sorry.
Can anyone in chat beat minus 38 degrees Celsius?
I haven't seen anything in chat that was colder than that.
Where are the rest of our Canadians? Minus 17 in northern Sweden, says Tusami. Minus 17.
Sydney, Austria? Since when is Sydney in Austria?
47 degrees.
Yeah, Sydney, the one that's in Austria. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's quite a bit colder in Austria right now.
So, if you had a cup of like tea or coffee in that temperature and you just threw it in the air, would it all just turn into?
It's amazing. If you live like on the second or third floor of an apartment, you can throw your water out the window and it turns into like snow on the way down. It is pretty cool to watch that.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever been near that cold in Germany. I think like minus 10, maybe minus 15 has been the coldest that I've experienced so far.
You've probably got to go back about 10,000 years before the UK was that cold.
Oh, hey, Commander Backlap says minus 42 in Abitibi. That's Western Quebec. Abitibi Temiskaming. It's a very a very French part of Quebec. Is that where you are, Backlap? Or es-tu français? Est-ce que t'es un Québécois? Do we have another Québécois in the chat? Hello, Commander Backlap. How are you today?
Kind of system name you'd find in Elite, doesn't it?
Funny. Makes me think of that one stream that you did in French.
Did I do a stream in French?
Like halfway in French.
Stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That was like, I don't know, probably more than a year ago, right?
Gosh, I don't remember that. What's Backlap say? Has he replied back?
No.
It's because Tabernac, Commander Plater. Esti Tabernac. Oh gosh, I shouldn't swear. Can I swear in French? Would YouTube get upset with me over that? I don't think they would. Croissant. Two semis. Croissant. Yes, croissant. Croissant poutine.
Backlab says, "Oui, je suis Québécoise." And your English is better. Keep to that.
Hey! Don't be insulting my French. It's very nice. Yeah, okay.
French lavage.
You know what? I speak fluent French, but I have not spoken French in ages. You know, I have this rule because I have a lot of friends that are English that don't speak French, and they're always bitching to me about, oh, you know, the French in Montreal, they're so mean. If you don't speak French, they're so mean to you. You know what? I am perfectly bilingual, and I never speak French. I make it a rule not to speak French, and nobody has ever been mean to me, so I don't understand where people come across saying that the French are mean. They're not. If you speak English, they will speak English to you, and if you speak French, they'll speak French to you. And if you're French and you speak English, the English people will speak English to you, and you're French, you speak French, and French people will speak French to you, and English people will speak French to you. It's kind of, that's the way it is. We live in a complicated city, but...
That sounded way more confusing than it needed to be.
Well, that's Montreal for you. We're a very confusing city. The only thing that sucks is all the signs are in French.
You go to North Wales, and you walk into a pub in North Wales, and everybody stops talking English and starts talking Welsh quietly to each other.
Quietly?
Yeah, just in case you might understand anyway.
How does Welsh sound? I have no idea.
It's all consonants.
Yeah, it sounds very Borgish. Or...
Borgish? We are Welsh. Resistance is futile.
No, it is. It's all consonants.
All consonants.
Probably more like...
Orcish or Borgish?
Or, I don't know. Somewhere in between.
Somewhere between Orcish and Borgish.
I think it's time to get to the expedition, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about the expedition.
Don't want to tease people too much here.
Oh, so, just a little tickle about the expedition.
Yeah, the story behind this whole thing is really that Commander Dov Enigma 13, who's here in chat as well with us, has commented on a Reddit post like almost 2 weeks ago, 1.5 weeks ago or so. And he basically said that he really would like to make a trip out to Colonia, but he isn't doing too well health-wise. And yeah, he was basically a bit concerned and expressed the wish to make it out there and be remembered in the game. And as the Elite Dangerous community is awesome as it is, they spread the word about that. It made its rounds, and it got heard by several people. I posted it on the Brocast as well, I think. And at some day, suddenly Paige approached me and talked to me about making this expedition happen for him and with him. And yeah, I got going. I pulled all the levers I have, and it basically got stuck with me pretty much organizing this whole expedition. And by now, let me check the current numbers. Let's see. We have 117 participants signed up on EDSM, and it's gonna be awesome. So what this expedition is, it's gonna be a very laid-back expedition out to Colonia. We're gonna start on the 12th of January, so it's pretty soon. It's this Friday, 19 GMT, British time, 1900. At Jackson's Lighthouse, which is the only neutron star in the bubble. We will meet up there, have a good time for a while, and then start jumping towards Colonia. We have set up 15 waypoints. Let me post my forum post I made in chat for you guys, so you can check it out yourself.
And I'll go ahead and put the link in the description to...
Yeah, exactly. Put that in the description, so everybody has access to it. There you go. The link is in chat. That's the forum post. We're gonna have 15 waypoints, several awesome sites in there. So it's really a exploration trip to check out all the awesome sites in the galaxy on the way to Colonia. There's some very interesting binary and trinary configurations in there. There's some awesome planetary waypoints in there where we can meet up and have some shenanigans. Yeah, and I hope to have you all along. It's very much an open expedition for everyone to join in. The main meetups are probably going to happen in the FleetCom private group, just for security reasons, you know, because even though this is a charity event of sorts, there's still going to be some interesting individuals out there that try to mess things up for people. So here's another link for you guys in chat. This is the place you want to go to if you want to join the FleetCom private group and the Discord, because we're going to use their Discord mainly for all the official meetups. When you want to talk to other people or just chat with them in text or so, you can use that for that. And yeah, what else? It's been very busy, but there's so many people stepping up again to this occasion. I'm just completely blown away. The logo you see there on the forum post and on EDSM as well is made by Commander Cohen Leff again. He's made several or most of the expedition logos, in fact, for all the other expeditions. And I approached him, and he made that thing in under a day. Like I told to him, I said to him, "Can you do something for us in that regard?" It's very short notice. It can be simplistic, no problem. And next day he has his first draft ready, which is pretty much what you're looking at right now. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, he's become a bit of a logo machine these days.
Yeah,
he's got his hands on it.
Echo Spark.
Link.
Sorry, Great
Why
Test.
is it bad?
Echo Spark is asking what the minimum jump range needed is, and I don't think that there is a minimum jump range needed for this.
The way out to Colonia there's nothing challenging there. I think if you have somewhere between 20 and 30 light years, you should be totally fine. There's no big gaps or abysses or anything in between. You're always going to find a route to plot. Of course, the more jump range you have, the less jumps you're going to have to do to get out there. But this exploration trip is going to be rather slow-paced. Like, we're in no particular hurry to get out there. And yeah, we're just going to...
Since you're still in... Well, you're still in relatively densely populated star space, so...
And it gets more dense towards Colonia. In fact, there's only one area where you have to kind of cross over a area between two galactic arms, like right after the bubble, pretty much. But it's not that sparse that you should have any problems, really. Yeah, but let me talk a bit more about why we actually do this. So, of course, this is for and with Commander Dorf Enigma because he expressed that wish. And you can read his full story actually on the charity website we've set up. Because even though he didn't say he would need any financial help or any other help in that regard, we figured that people might want to donate anyhow on that occasion, because I do know how the Elite Dangerous community is. So we just tagged that on there as a possibility for you guys to do something good. The charity is for the St. Jude's Children Research Hospital. I'm gonna drop the link also in chat. There are several links today. I'm sorry, guys, but this expedition is rather involved, and I've been doing a lot of organizational work the last couple of days.
From the bus, mostly.
Not only from the bus, but I've been here since Thursday already, so that was all right. But that's pretty much all I've been doing the last couple of nights.
I'd also like to point out that Grey Test is probably one of the best people to organize an expedition like this, because he has considerable experience in exploration. Grey Test, why don't you tell the people watching where you have gone and why this is such a good thing that you're planning it?
Why? I don't know. It just happened.
Well, you can blame me for coming up with the YouTube concept, but you can blame Gray for organising it all. So there you go.
I mean, I've had my go at this, but I have to say, exploration-wise, there's other people out there that know way more than I do. I've only been part of the Distant Worlds expedition, and nothing much since then, really. So.
But you've organized a considerable amount of other things as well.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube was a big project, and there has been a lot of organizational work with that one.
How about the Rock Rats?
The Rock Rats. I know I'm doing a lot of stuff in the game.
Grey Test has got his paws into a lot of things in the game, and he helps organize, and he's very responsible as far as organizing these things.
Yeah,
so.
but I do have to be careful, though, because now that you mentioned the Rock Rats, some things tend to be on the back burner then if you do so much stuff simultaneously. Like, I haven't done much for the Rock Rats in the last while, but before I went to Hamburg in November, I actually organized a meetup for them as well to see all the guys again, which was very nice. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what Elite Dangerous is about for me, though. It is all about the awesome community that has formed around the game. That is why I am on the show with you guys, because I really enjoy interacting, seeing what the current, mood is in the community, what the hot topics are, discussing that with you guys, seeing what other people think about it, exchanging opinions. That's what I enjoy, because I really enjoy the game and I enjoy investing my time into that little bit extra to get more out of it.
We could talk about the mood of the game a little bit right now, as a matter of fact, since we have Q1 of 2018 has now started, and we are all expecting, and I'm sure very excited to see some of the new features that are going to be added into the game, namely the new planets, right? Who is excited to see the new planets? And what
I'm especially excited about it because our home planet in whatever brackets in Churton is gonna change as well. Like the Elgin hub, the station in Churton, is hovering in between the rings and the planet itself. And if that planet, hopefully, it's gonna look awesome in the next update, like get some nice colors, some nice, and I mean the features are not gonna change much for now, that's Q4, but I really hope it's gonna look interesting, because right now it's pretty much just a beige ball.
Yeah. There's a lot of beige balls out there right now, unfortunately. that's kind of the exploration trip right now, is just beige balls.
A galaxy full of sucked Maltesers.
Oh my goodness. A lot of beige balls. Well, it'll be very interesting once they implement that. I mean, they're saying Q1. What do you guys think in chat? I mean, when do you think they're gonna? What date do you predict? We should do. We should do like a raffle.
Do we?
We should take down all the dates. We see who has the closest date, and then we'll give a prize to the person who has the closest date.
We could do that. We would have to set up like a Moodle or something where everyone can enter their date that they bet on.
Is that something that we can set up? Is there a website that lets us do that?
Yeah, I'm sure we can find something to do that. Yeah.
Okay, well then let's do that. We'll have
we'll see if we get that set up for next week's broadcast, right?
Yeah, tomorrow. The dates are already going in there. People are guessing.
Yeah,
okay, guys, don't stop guessing.
My bet is still towards the end of March, just because
March 30th.
Have always taken that time with those things. But I do hope that if there is going to be a beta for it, that's going to be a little bit sooner, so we at least can start talking about the new features and see them implemented in some way.
Do you think there's going to be a beta for
just a graphic upgrade? I'm not sure. I actually didn't see that topic come up much, so there might not be one.
It's really all going to depend on whether or not they're adding anything else in at the same time, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it's only going to be like... Yeah, I mean, there are several features for Q1. I do not have them all in mind right now, forgive me. But if they only would have to do a proper beta if there is going to be any major gameplay or game mechanic changes that they really have to test on a big scale. If not, then they could probably omit a beta on this update.
Well,
we'll see.
I mean, we really didn't get much, and again, I don't want to express too much disappointment over the content that came out over the holidays, but there really wasn't a whole lot of substance to it. It was okay, so we got a new Thargoid ship, and we had a couple of stations that were under attack. There was a little bit of a gameplay element there, but not a whole lot in terms of changes to the gameplay or how we interact with the Thargoids at this point. So here's hoping that Q1 is going to bring a lot of change to that and maybe have more interaction, maybe touch a little bit more on the, the communication side of the Thargoids, if there is going to be any. That's what I'm hoping, at least. So for that, we'd probably need a beta, but you know how Frontier is when they have something like that, they don't want us to see it in the beta. So they don't activate those features, and beta doesn't actually let you test any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So we might see the planet surfaces in a beta, in an upcoming beta.
Which, I can see that, yeah.
But Q1 would end when? March?
31st of March, yeah. That
31st
would be the
of
end
March.
Of Q1.
So
I mean, my birthday is at the beginning of March, so I really hope I have something by then, but we'll see. A birthday present would be nice.
Yeah, I was hoping for something like that too, but Frontier didn't deliver.
Yeah, right. There was someone who had a birthday recently, right?
Nope, didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Guys in chat, please give us a short happy birthday to a certain Commander 40% here in chat.
Yeah.
He's deserved it.
It's Commander 41% now.
So old and still looking good.
I'm 26 for the 15th time. Oh yeah. That's right.
There you go.
Hey, old guy, says Luigi. Woo! Yay! It's fun getting older, isn't it?
Totally.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Christmas and New Year's birthdays are happy 12th, 29th birthday. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
You know, it's funny, though, because I'm Commander 41% now, actually, not 40% anymore.
Yeah,
I got that extra. My hull went up with my age. It's
So once you're 100, you're back up to a full ship.
Let's see what happens in a year. I might be 42.
Slowly creep you back.
As long as I stay out in the black and don't actually make my way back to a station, it might happen. Each year they're going to give me 1% all, like, happy birthday, 1% all. I gotta be 100. Yeah, right? Oh, thanks, guys. 1977, best year ever.
I've talked about the EDSM expedition. For you guys that do not know what EDM is, it's the Elite Dangerous Star map. It is
the sadomasochism site. Oh,
no, it is not.
ED sadomasochism.
It is a third-party tool, or created or maintained at least by the awesome Anthor, Commander Anthor, and it allows you to track expeditions, track your own travels across the galaxy via a 3D map. You can upload your logs in there to have all the data up to date. It's just a very nice tool, and we will use that to document and just follow the progress of the expedition. So if you join in on the expedition, I'll drop the link here in chat. There you go. Sign up there if you can. Just create an account, sign up for it, and maybe you can also use a tool like ED Discovery to update your actual position and progress during the expedition, so we can see who has reached which waypoint and how good we come along.
I'm just like giggling to myself over the comments in chat right now. Donut says, "Wait, Josh, you're as old as my dad?" You know, I forget sometimes how old I am because you don't feel old. You just the number for your age goes up.
Yeah.
But I have a 17-year-old daughter, and she'll be 18 this year, and then I'm like, holy crap, you know, like I actually am an old geezer.
Yeah, quick shout out there to Commander Plater and Commander Paroxysm in chat as well. Those two guys have been tremendous, helping me out with setting, for example, the charity up, which Commander Plater did. Commander Paroxysm has been a great help with organizing some of the internal stuff for the expedition. So thank you guys, great help.
Voice chat in their Discord as well if people want to.
The tool I was talking about, Ironhead, is ED Discovery. Just Google it, you'll find it. I don't have a link at hand right now for it.
I like this.
It is a tool that you actually install on your PC, and there's an API that you can basically sign up in the program with, and it can then access your log files that the game drops on a regular basis. Whenever you jump somewhere, whenever you do anything in game, it can log that event and track it for you, and has all sorts of awesome functionalities. And one of them is to also upload that data to EDSM and display it on the expedition.
Does anyone know if Captain's Log now has an interface to EDSM? Because I love Captain's Log. By far my favorite.
The last time I checked, it still said that Captain's Log is not integrated yet, but maybe that was not up to date. So if it is by now, yes, there are other programs out there. You can use Captain's Log as well. I think you can also use the ED Market Connector. That works as well. So there's a lot of options out there. Choose your favorite and use it.
I want to just read out another comment in chat here. Douglas Goodman says, now my wife has heard that I'm not the only old gamer. No, Douglas.
Amanda's garden in chat there says it's his birthday tomorrow.
Oh,
and he says he's older than Commander Hawkins.
Ah, so there you go.
More old
there
gamers,
you go.
Yes.
Well,
old gamers.
You know, we should take a poll. Who here is over 40? How many people in chat are over 40? Let's show Douglas Goodman's wife how many old gamers there actually are. All you 40-plussers, let's go 40+ in chat. Hashtag 40+.
Commander Resender, yeah, condolences to that. Commander Resender recently lost like 8 months worth of exploration progress.
Look at that.
Some unfortunate incident.
Look at that chat. Sorry, I'm just like amazed. Look at that.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, 40
there's
plus
some
unite.
40 minus in there as well.
Oh, there's some 40 minus in there.
Yeah.
60
Not
plus.
bad.
Oh yeah. Getting close to 50. That's amazing. Wow, look at you guys go. Talk about old timers like unite.
Yeah, Resender, I don't know how that works. I don't think it would, like delete any progress that you have. But if you have any very particular questions to all of this, feel free to hit up Anther directly on Discord or on the forums. He can certainly, he's very helpful. He's been super helpful as well. Again, the community around this has been absolutely incredible because he also spent like a whole night with me just setting the expedition up and getting the waypoints going and stuff like that. Absolutely incredible. And he even offered, which is mind-boggling, on the forums for the console commanders to sign them up manually into the expedition and manually track their progress. So if you are on console, that's an option you have to be part of the expedition. We do not have any official like representatives on console yet. I have contacted FDEF if we can put something in place there. No further information on that just yet. So for now, it's going to be, you're going to have to organize yourselves pretty much. If you want to tag along on console, you're going to have to meet up with people on your own and enjoy that yourselves. Feel free to use all the information, of course, and you're very welcome to join any voice chat on the FleetCom Discord, or I think on the Zencast Discord, we also have a channel for that. You can always join in on there and, yeah, have a good time. Enjoy the beauty of the galaxy together.
Yes, Echo Spark says, geriatrics of the galaxy. Maybe we should change this to the Geezer Cast. Geezer Cast. All right. I hope you guys all remember to take your old people pills this morning. I took mine.
Yes, absolutely.
You can't forget those when you get to this age, otherwise things hurt all day long. All right, and with that, we've made it to Meredith City. So here we are. I'm going to dock. And,
yeah, I'm just going to say real quick, if you guys have any more questions towards that expedition, towards all the functionality around it, leave a forum post on the thread, leave a question in Discord. I will try to answer wherever you can reach me. I'm certain the other guys that are with us here will also help you out anytime. You will be heard and you will be helped.
That's what we do. We hear and we help.
Except we have to have our hearing aids in.
Great test, you laugh. Just wait. Just wait until you get to our age. You'll know.
I know. Can't wait.
You know that whole, like, when you listen to old people going, oh God, my back really hurts. I just wake up in the morning and something hurts. It's true. You're like, what's wrong with you? How could your body doesn't hurt when you wake up in the morning? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Happy birthday. One more thing is hurting
yeah,
today.
there, Commander Dove, Enigma 13 in chat as well. If you have any for him, feel free to hit him up. He's right there. And also Paraxim, that's what we're going to do right now. The exploration tutorial is going to be very much about how to set up a proper exploration ship.
Yeah, which we're going to get into right now, the exploration tutorial, right after I read Commander Rod Wader's comment. Too bad most of you won't get to see the release of Star Citizen. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I've been waiting so long. It's true.
Well, what? Roberts is knocking on a bit, you know. I'm sure he'll want to get it out while he's still around, won't he?
Yeah, I mean, he is older than us, right? I mean, Roberts has got to be, what, 55-ish?
Ish, yeah.
He must be. Let's see. How old is Chris Roberts? Let's do a quick Google search here. Chris Roberts. Oh, God. Here we go. Chris Roberts. Let's see what comes up when you Google Chris Roberts. Oh, here he is. Okay, born 1968. He's 49. Oh, ooh, sorry. I was a little too high there. 49. Wow. 49.
Well, yeah, all that stress and work took its toll, probably.
Well, there you yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's Sir Lord Braven-Obe, who's a little bit older. He's 64.
He is
64. He's born in 64.
Oh, he's born in 64. Okay, so then he's what, 53? Yeah, 53. Well, both of them are pretty young guys then. Just a little older
has
than
been
us.
a good generation for computer games, that.
It certainly has. And that's probably the reason why you see so many people 40 plus in our chat right now.
Yep.
All right, so here we are. We've arrived at Meredith City. We're going to talk about exploration because those of you who want to join in the expedition, if you've never done any exploration before, it's really important to know how to set up an exploration ship so you don't get stranded out in the black. Mind you, there are contingencies in place just in case you run out of fuel. You could always call the fuel rats, and I'm sure Greytest
There will actually be fuel rats with us, so you're all good there.
Bingo. The ever-efficient Greytest, I was going to say, was probably already arranging that. So no worries, someone's going to have fuel limpets and all of that good stuff on the expedition. However, if you decide to go off on your own, if you straggle far from the herd, and maybe you're on Xbox and not reporting in and people can't track your position, you're going to want to have a ship that's capable of refueling itself. So I'd say the very first thing you're going to need on any exploration ship is a fuel scoop.
Well, yeah, you need that by default, not only if you want to refuel yourself, because you always have to do that. Like, you can't just fly by fuel rat.
So let's talk about the essentials. What are the most essential things that you cannot do without on any exploration ship?
Cannot do without a fuel scoop. That's one.
That's it, really.
That's true.
I mean,
that really is it. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
that's actually it.
Okay, yes, but I would say that having a discovery scanner,
any money out of it,
yeah,
yes,
having a discovery scanner is also
an advanced discovery scanner,
kind of an essential.
Detailed surface scanner optional because it.
Let's gentlemen, let's do this by order, not just blab out anything here.
Of course, efficiency grey. Carry on.
Yes, I mean, it is supposed to be a tutorial, so
all right.
I want to make this kind of structured so people can tag along, maybe even build along or watch it after the fact to get all the information they need. So I would suggest we just go through how you would set up your ship. If you just bought a ship that you want to take on the expedition, what are you going to have to do, Josh?
Well, here we go. I've got the outfitting screen open. I'm just storing my modules here because I've got all of these cabins on here. So here are the absolute basics that you will need for an exploration ship. There you go. Your fuel scoop is an optional internal. What ship you choose is really just going to depend on your playstyle, what you would like. I mean, you can explore in basically any ship in Elite Dangerous. We have people that showed up at Beagle Point in Sidewinders. I mean, that's going to be quite the challenge if you are going someplace far like Beagle Point. But if you're going to Colonia, I mean, you can certainly do it in a Sidewinder. There are, however, some ships that are better for exploration, such as the one that I have on my screen right now, which is the Diamondback Explorer.
You have to consider two things. The very small ships like Sidewinder, Hauler, Adder, those very small ships, they sometimes lack a bit in terms of internal modules.
Right.
So you will not be able to fit everything that you might want to have on an exploration ship. You might still be able to make it without a problem, but you might not have everything with you.
Now we can take a look at that right here on the screen. I've got a Sidewinder up, and we can take a look at what type of modules and internals that a ship like a Sidewinder has, since this is the ship that everybody starts out in.
Yeah, but you have a DBX there already on the pad, and the DBX is actually a pretty good point to start at, because the DBX is, I would say, overall the second best exploration ship, really, and it is the cheapest dedicated, very good exploration ship out there. So if you're serious about exploration and going out there and having a good time, that is probably the ship you want to aim for first if you start out a new game.
It's going to be the least expensive.
What is the price on that?
The price range on a DBX, let's see if they have one here.
I'd say the only downside...
They don't sell them here.
You can't quite fit a large enough fuel scooper.
Yeah, but
really.
That's what I want to get into right now. But the DBX is the first ship since it got reworked several months ago. I don't know. It actually has enough internal slots to fit everything you need, and it also got a bit reduced in its weight, which increased its jump range again. So it's pretty good now.
It's just shy of 2 mil to pick one up.
Just shy of 2 mil? Okay. And if you want to look up the price of an ASP as well, just so we have a comparison. Before we go to the bigger ships, though, I just want to say again, because everyone is going to start with a Sidewinder. Let's say, for example, if you are just starting the game and you want to join in on this expedition, and there may be some people who are just, brand new. If you're in a Sidewinder, let's just very quickly look. The first thing you want to look at is the FSD range, which you can see on the screen right here. This is the basic ship. So you can see the range of the Sidewinder is 11.39 laden and 11.63 unladen. It's very small. So obviously when sorry. That was my Sidewinder. 6.96 and 7.79. Sorry, basic ship without anything on there.
Because the range that you see on there is the default range, and the default range is with a E-class frameshift drive, I think, right?
Which is the starting point to give you an idea as to how far that ship will actually be able to go if you want to compare it to other ships.
Only take it as a relative number compared to the other ship by there.
If we scroll through here, for example, you can see the Eagle jumps up to 8.27. Then you've got the Hauler, which actually is a fantastic ship for exploration. Actually, you know what? We should say the Hauler is probably the very first exploration ship that you can buy without spending a lot of money if you just get into the game.
Entry-level exploration.
It has fantastic range, that is true. It just will have some trouble equipping everything that you might want to have with you.
You can, let's see, as far as modules on the Hauler, you would be able to put a size 2 fuel scoop, which means you're going to spend a considerable amount of time scooping. So
keep in mind the fuel tank is pretty small, so it's not too bad actually, but that's not like the main point.
You will overheat, and it has, like Gray says, it's got next to no internal modules, so it's very limited in what it can do.
Very limited in what it can do.
An SRV and a discovery scanner, an advanced discovery scanner. And
let's go back to the DBX and actually go through the modules you would need. So,
let me see if I can pull that up.
The Hauler has fantastic range, but lacks a bit in modules. The DBX is the first ship which has fantastic range and probably can take everything you would need. And the next step up then is the ASP X, and the best one still up there, reigning high, is the Anaconda.
Yes.
Has the best range,
interestingly,
has spades of space for you to equip anything you could ever want.
Which unfortunately they don't sell here, but they do have an ASP Explorer on the list, so we can take a look at that. The ASP also does have, as you can see, an additional multi-crew seat, so if you do want to bring someone along with you, just so that you can share the exploration experience. If one of your friends is out doing combat in the bubble and they want to jump in and see a really cool nebula, you can always pop them in on that additional seat.
And
good view that seat too.
The choices you would probably want to avoid are ships like the FDL or the Corvette, because they have really abysmal range. But those are relative high-tier ships anyhow. I think in
pretty
the
much
lower...
everything that says Federal in front of it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Type 9, of course, also pretty bad. But the Type 10, actually not too bad. So
yeah, because it can fit a bigger jump range. So
anything in between is still okay, unless you really want to push it.
Thudbucker is saying that the T6 makes a good Explorer as well. It has decent jump range on it.
It's not bad.
I think, if anything, I wouldn't personally take it out exploring from this point moving forward, because we don't know what's going to happen with the whole Thargoid narrative, and if you're ever going to encounter anything out in the black that could potentially be dangerous. I mean, David Braben has actually hinted at it in the past, saying, you know, explorers might want to consider what loadouts they have. But we haven't seen anything.
He likes to do that.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything develop. But I will say, and it's because 2 years ago I started exploring and I haven't returned back. It was 2 years ago that David Braben said that, and that's one of the reasons why I put guns on my ship. So 2 years exploring, I have yet to encounter anything dangerous. Well, yeah, it's nothing. Hadn't had to shoot anything, really.
You got a couple of videos out of it.
I did get a couple of videos out of it, that's true. I did end up in a little bit of combat.
I mean, people in chat are, of course, questioning or complaining. I know jump range is probably still the least important part about exploration. You can explore with like 10 light years easily. You're just going to have to do a lot more jumps. But for some people, it's all about, you know, jumping to all the systems in an area. Yeah. And that totally works fine with even 10 light years.
If you've got a 40 light year jump, then there's nothing to stop you from jumping 10 light years. Is there?
Yeah, I mean...
But you can't do it the other way around. So,
exactly. So, of course, it works.
Plus, you have to come home. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just how much time you want to invest, really. And if you really want to go far out there, it can get very frustrating. I tell you, space madness is real, and you're more prone to it if you're going to have to do like 6,000 jumps instead of 3,000. So consider that.
The jump range is really only going to be important if you decide to go to extreme parts of the galaxy, like the roof or the basement or wherever you call it, since there's not really any up-down.
Yeah, or some of the crossings in between the galactic arms are also quite thin in time. So
they can be quite sparse. The star population is sparse. There's
the Formidine Rift expeditions and going across the abyss to Beagle Point, not fun. Not fun at all.
And what ends up happening there is you end up with a lot of stars that are not scoopable as well.
Yes.
So neutron stars, black holes, you really have to plot your course through, but having a large jump range will let you get to another scoopable star and really push.
I suppose, that also brings us on to the secondary topic of Jumponium.
Well, that's more advanced. Yeah, that's more advanced.
Let's stick to the basic setup of the ship now.
So jump range is only important depending on where you want to go. If you're planning on just doing basic exploration, you can go with almost any ship, but the 3 ships that we would recommend the most would be the Diamondback Explorer.
It's just a recommendation, and as you said, you can make every ship work. The smaller ones might lack some internal modules, so you cannot bring everything. But the rest is really just personal preference. If you want to have range, pick a good ship. If you don't care, then pick any other ship that you like the looks of or whatever. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, which would not be the Asp Explorer. It's not a beautiful ship.
If you've got some little niggle in a cockpit or some query about a noise, you go, I can't stand that dolphin's boost noise after a while. It will get to you.
And of course,
the further out you go,
the most important part about Expedition ever is you have to look good. So bring a cool paint job, bring some decals, bring some engine colors, whatever. I mean, those screenshots, they do have to look good after all, right?
That's true, actually.
Gray?
If you're feeling a bit ice window licky, then if you go to an external view and your ship looks pretty, it does
Do you want to talk about the importance of the fuel tank size so that people understand how that?
Let's just go through it. Go to your DBX and go to the main, and we'll talk about each and what you have to consider with that particular component.
All right.
And what you're really looking for there.
I am on my DBX, and let's go to the core internals and take a look at what we have. We have
So the first one you'll see there is the bulkheads. Bulkheads, of course, the only thing they do is strengthen your hull and increasing the weight of your ship. And since for exploration, to increase your range, you want to have as low a weight as possible, you want to stick to the lightweight alloys with that. But you can do something special here. You can put a grade 1 engineering on that lightweight alloys hull. And there is a secondary effect that can actually reduce the weight of the module. So you can get even a bit more weight reduction out of those if you really need it or want it.
Unfortunately, it'll never make it as light as the Unicorn Fart Anaconda hull, but there you
go.
No,
yeah. Of course, you had to put that in there, right?
Unicorn Fart.
It's in my contract.
Yeah, I see. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much all you have to know about the bulkhead. Then the next one is
the power plant.
The power plant. With the power plants are actually a little bit special because you always want to pick an A-class power plant.
100%.
Yes, 100% because they have the best heat management. So you will, you will not overheat as easily when fuel scooping. And the A-class power plant is also the best in comparison weight to power. You know, not even the D-class is better there. So it absolutely makes no sense picking a D-class module. Always go with the smallest A-class power plant that will suffice for the power requirements your ship has.
Which can be half the size of the module fitting.
And
depending.
Yeah, and it might even be worth considering taking even another class lower of power plant and then engineering that for overcharge, because you can, even with a grade 1 or grade 2 roll, you can get quite significant increase in power output without many negative effects. So that might even be still a little bit better than going one class bigger on the power plant.
Next up, we have thrusters. Now, thrusters are kind of an interesting, and you have some options with thrusters.
We've got a 3.9G world on this route, haven't we?
Right.
We do have one waypoint with a 3.9G landing site, yeah.
Now, your thrusters are only going to come into play if you need...
You don't have to land there.
If you plan on doing any type of planetary landing, because otherwise thrusters don't really have any effect.
Sort of meetups, if you want to touch down somewhere, you need thrusters. Super crew have no whatsoever. So generally, I would recommend going with small D-class thrusters on there, because they are the lightest and they will do just fine. If you now have such a really high G world on your exploration trip, it might be worth considering picking a bit more powerful thrusters.
I go with 4B. I always go with the B because you are getting less mass.
The B are really the heaviest you could pick. So
no, the A is the heaviest.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Go down to A. B is 16 tons. A should be 8. 10. There you go.
16 tons? Wait, where are we looking at? Oh, you're right. Gosh. What the hell? I was looking at the wrong damn thing.
So I would recommend either going with, or if you need power, go with A-class. It's not going to make a big difference, but it might save you from a painful litho-breaking encounter with the ground. So,
and sometimes those encounters with the ground are actually... You'd think that
can be absolutely deadly.
Well, they could be absolutely deadly if you're on a high G world, even if you're not. But what you don't realize is that even a small impact is a big deal when you're going on a long exploration journey.
And
because
we'll talk about that later some more. But yeah, just for the drives, go with A. If you need power, go with D. If you don't care, if you just want to be light. Engineering-wise, you can do some. I would recommend clean drive tuning in that regard, because it decreases your distributor draw, so you might be able to boost if you picked a small distributor. So there's clean drive tuning is the recommended one for exploration, really.
Yeah, Echo Sparks has recommendation on thruster grade for T10 on a high G world. Well, it's like flying a brick anyway, and anything less than an A grade thruster is going to make it like flying a brick. So if you start getting into trouble, you want to try and get out of it, and a better grade thruster is going to help you. If you feel
in my experience,
pulling you a little,
it doesn't make a huge difference. You're gonna have to be careful. You're gonna have to be careful anyhow, if whatever class of thrusters you have. But if you miscalculate your descent, then the A thrusters might save your butt, while the D thrusters will probably let you down. Yeah.
A thrusters will also help you a lot if you decide to do canyon runs because you're bored of exploring way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And yes, that's happened to some people, I'm sure.
Has happened to many people. We had several unfortunate lethal breaking encounters on distance.
It's just one of the facts of exploration is that eventually, as we were saying earlier, you will go a little bonkers, because if you're out there long enough, you are just repeating the same thing over and over. And, you know, you're going to want to go look at planets. You're going to want to find something new and interesting. And unfortunately, after a certain period of time, you will not. So what you do is you try to find ways to entertain yourself. And sometimes that includes putting yourself in danger, because it adds more excitement to the actual exploration. Unfortunately, it results in terrible things.
Amanda's Garden's tip in chat there is actually pretty good. If you should find yourself miscalculating your descent and seeing the ground come ever so quickly closer, the only thing that will really save you is pointing your nose straight up and boosting, if you can. Like, even if you can't boost, point your nose straight up, because your main thrusters are the strongest ones. But
the boost is insane.
The boost is the one thing that really saves your butt in that case, because your lateral thrusters, they will not save you at all.
And absolutely do not boost while you're pointing at a canyon wall. It's a very bad idea.
Nope.
General Ghost has a very good tip too. He says, pro exploration tip, don't go between two stars in an external camera view.
Yes. Who would do that?
Yes, I don't know. Crazy, stupid idiots.
So next up we have the life support, right?
No, frameshift drive.
Sorry, frameshift drive. Probably the most important part about all this. If you want to have decent range, you need absolutely the biggest frameshift drive you can equip. It is going to cost you a considerable amount of money, but you want to pick the biggest A-class module in there, always. And then, after that, you also want to proceed and engineer it for additional jump range. And that's how you really get those insane ranges in the 50s, sometimes even 60s of light years with the good exploration ships.
Dad says, get to know Grandma Hyperdrive. Yes,
Grandma Hyperdrive, exactly.
That's who you have to go and see.
There's two engineers who can do that for you. I think Elvira Martuk and
she's the other one.
Marcia, and they both have grade 5 frameshift drive engineering. You want to go for the increased jump range or increased frameshift drive range, or so it's called, and pick a grade 5 there. It is going to have some negative effects like increased power draw, increased weight, I think, of the module itself, and increased heat output. So you want to take those into account with the rest of your setup. But overall, it will always give you better jump range, and that's what you're looking for. What you really want to maximize there is the optimal multiplier, I think it's called, right?
I think that's what it is.
The optimal multiplier is the one stat that you want to really max out. Normally that goes up until like 50% extra. But if like those really insane rolls are, if you then on top of that get a secondary roll that pushes it beyond those 50%. But consider that we're soon-ish TM gonna have a like new engineering system. So from there on out, it's probably gonna be a different meta and work differently. We'll see once it comes. But for now, that's what you're looking for, 50%, and then ideally a secondary effect that pushes it past those 50% into the 52, 53, maybe even 56% area.
Next up.
Optimal mass, optimal mass is that you're looking for.
Next up, we have life support, which is a completely
if you
useless.
Nowhere,
yeah,
it doesn't matter how much you've got; it's never going to be enough.
If you've just started playing the game, life support only kicks in when A, you blow out your canopy, or B, you run out of fuel.
I think Commander Plater can tell you a load about this.
but realistically,
that's exactly right, Josh. That's the only two occasions. Like your canopy will usually blow on an exploration trip unless that particular module really takes a lot of heat damage when you cook yourself or so. But the only occasion where it really can be important is if you actually run completely out of fuel and you need the fuel rats to come and save you. Because that module determines how much time you have left until you die, basically.
However, if it's just running out of fuel, it doesn't matter which life support module you have, because you will log out of the game and wait until they get there, so you're not consuming your life support. But
let's get that right. What you want to do in that situation, get the system you are in first. Write that down somewhere, take a screenshot or so, and then log out, because you're going to want to tell the fuel rats where they can find you, actually.
And in situation A, where you blow your canopy, well, it doesn't really matter how much emergency life support you have. So you could buy an A-rated or a D-rated or a C-rated or whatever. You're going to die. That's just plain and simple.
And that's why you probably want to pick the D-class module in that slot, because it has
the lightest. Yeah, it has the lowest mass. It's going to give you more jump range, and how much life support you have is useless.
Even on combat ships, I always go with D-class, because it's like 7.5 minutes that you have, and that's always going to be enough in the bubble to get to a starport and repair yourself.
Commander Ku is bringing up an interesting point. He says you can synthesize oxygen now, so more life support does mean less synthesis needed. However, again, why you would be using your life support is,
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's only for emergencies, really.
You may use your... Well, hold on. There is one other thing you might use your life support for. I mean, if you're making videos and you want to turn off everything in your ship, sometimes you end up using life support. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I've used a considerable amount of my life support on my exploration ship.
Synthesize some when you go back.
I think I really better synthesize a bit, because I've done quite a few shots and then gone, hey, wait a second, I might be running out of oxygen in this thing. So
why is it not coming back?
If you do like to make YouTube videos in Elite Dangerous, sometimes you may find yourself doing the life support thing for reasons. But in any case, D is always going to be your best bet. It's the lowest mass.
I would say so, yeah. And I'm not sure. I do not. Are there? I think there might be engineer upgrades for life support. There might even be like a weight reduction one. Look out for that. But I think those are the very advanced engineers, so people new to Elite Dangerous will probably not have them unlocked.
Dave Luthwaite says, can't repair limpets fix the canopy? So that's actually a good question. No. Well, yes, they can fix the canopy, but I think there was an answer to that. Paroxysm says not if it's broken. So that's true. Yeah. If your canopy is cracking, now you can repair your canopy using repair limpets. However, once you break your canopy, the limpets will not put a new canopy in place for you. So and breaking your canopy can happen from a hard landing, which I think Ascorbius was saying he's had some experience with that in a T9 on a Thargoid planet. Broke his canopy. So hard landings, and again, that goes back to your thrusters. Thrusters are going to be useful on planet surfaces. Even with shields, you can have hard landings, and so good thrusters can be useful, but it's your call on that. Life support.
Yeah, I think the only thing that might save you then is going down to a planet really quickly, and hopefully you have an SRV with you to gather some of those synthesis materials, and then just synthesizing your way to the next possible outpost station, whatever. But if you're really far out there, there might be nothing like 10,000, 20,000 light years from you, and then you're pretty much screwed unless you want to constantly keep gathering materials.
That would be an interesting thing, though, to see someone, you know,
pull that
planet
off,
hopping to recharge their oxygen with a broken canopy from, like, you know, 3,000 or 10,000 light years out. That's got to be a hell of a trip. Let's move on to power distributor. And it's a good thing that we're talking about it because I've never actually been in a station where I can upgrade mine. So let's say, what should we do for power distributor? Greatest? I have some choices.
So in general, again, I would say D-class and the smallest one you can fit probably. But there is one thing you might want to consider here. If you pick a very small power distributor, you might not be able to boost anymore because your capacity is too low. Now you can do two things. Either you engineer your power distributor for increased capacity that will give you the ability again to boost, or if you can't do that, or if you don't have the engineer or whatever, then you might want to consider picking a bigger class of power distributor to be able to boost again to save your butt in dangerous situations.
And boosting is also, I mean, let me put it this way. I have spent a considerable amount of time in my exploration journey looking for planetary surface features because, again, you know, part of exploration is, you know, going out there and trying to find really cool, cool views, cool vistas. And planetary surface features, you have to fly across the surface in order to find them. There's kind of like a cheat way to do that, which you can do it in Super Cruise or Glide, rather. But if you fly down to a surface and you just want to boost across the surface, if you have a low-rated power distributor, you're not going to be doing a lot of boosting. You have to wait a lot in between, which means you're not covering a lot of ground area.
It's still better than no boost at all, though.
Yeah.
By far. So consider that in that choice. But generally go with a small one because it uses less power. So that means you might be able to pick a smaller power plant in return. And it also just weighs less straight up. So there you go. And yeah, engineering-wise, I don't think there is a lightweight module, but you have the option to increase the capacity of a lower class of distributor on that one.
Sensors.
You're saying the A modules produce more heat, right? I thought they're generally the most heat efficient, aren't they? The A's.
That's the case with the power plant. I do not know if with the other module.
I'd be willing to bet that a B is the worst, though.
No, I think you might be right with that. That, for example, the thrusters, I'm pretty sure the A ones would produce the most heat. I haven't tested that. I do not know if there's numbers for that even, but that's what I would say makes sense.
I suppose going from the fact that none of us have really noticed, it can't be that critical.
Yeah. Then next up we have the sensors. Again, that's a classical case. You want to go with D-class sensors because they are the lightest. And that module, especially on the bigger ships, can actually weigh quite a bit. Because I think on the Anaconda, for example, it's like a class 7 or so. And that weighs like 60 tons around about. So you can save some weight there if you go with a D-class. And you can also engineer, again, that module for lightweight and save another couple of tons there. To increase your range further.
Let's take a quick look. This is the Diamondback Explorer and a quick recap. So lightweight alloys, the power plant, you want an A-rated. Thrusters, you can go with, well, whatever you prefer. I'm going with an A on this one here, just in case I want to land on some high-G planets. Definitely the frame shift drive is going to be A-rated, and of course the highest rated one you can get. Life support is going to be a D. Power distributor is going to be a D, and sensors is going to be a D. So this is the Diamondback Explorer's core internals. Do we want to look at...
we have one more point down there, the fuel tank.
Right.
I would recommend leaving that as is, leaving it the biggest you can get in there. because it doesn't really grant you any advantage to pick a smaller fuel tank. It just basically reduces the amount of jumps you can do in one go, and that might actually be dangerous if you're crossing areas of space where there's few scoopable planets, stars. But on the other hand, you now have the option to just completely filter those out, so it doesn't really make a difference anymore. On distant worlds, I did actually pick a smaller fuel tank, but that had very specific reasons with like jumping on fumes and stuff like that. I generally don't recommend that. Just leave the biggest fuel tank in there and you should be good with that.
Dante UK is saying try a 3A power on the Diamondback Explorer. Let's take a look.
Should actually work for you. You still have some weapons equipped, so if you get rid of those, it might be enough.
Yep. We can go ahead and put a 3A power on there.
And also this thing is not engineered yet.
You know, really though, if we look at the 3A and the 4A, the difference is
not huge.
No, I go from 33.68 to 33.45, so it's not a big difference.
But those small difference, they do accumulate, and overall you will feel the difference. Like that's coming back to the point that you can't really do much wrong. Like the points we had at the beginning are really the most important points, like big frameshift drive, and that's pretty much it. Big frameshift drive and fuel scoop, that's what you need for a good explorer, because those will give you a good range and the ability to refuel yourself along the way. All the other modules that we talk about are just to, get a couple of more light years out of the whole thing and make the trip maybe easier, quicker, whatever.
Now, we have hard points is the first option on outfitting, and Noma DZ2K is saying, I took my weapons off my ASP and cargo hold, anything to get more jumps. So yes, you can take the weapons off your ship. If you want to be 100% pure exploration, you can certainly take the weapons off your ship. As of this moment, there's really no need for weapons if you're going on an exploration trip, save for 1 or 2 occasions, which would be your departure and your return. Now, if you want to have, for example, a SRV race out in the black and you need a finish line or so, you might need a... But that's very special occasions. Very special occasions.
In general, you don't need weapons on an exploration trip. And even though David Braben has announced the dangers out there in the black, I do not see anything really dangerous happening anytime soon, I have to say.
However, as I said, your departure and your return to the bubble or Colonia, wherever it is that you're departing from, you could very well get interdicted. And let's say, for example, if you have a 3A power plant on a DVX and a D-rated shield generator and, crappy thrusters, you might possibly need to fight. And in most cases, you'll just die because you're in an exploration ship and it's not equipped for combat. But if, let's say, you got interdicted by a Sidewinder or an Eagle or something like that, having those hard points might just assist you in ensuring that you get out of the bubble without getting destroyed. Or returning.
In general, I would say no, because an exploration ship will never be set up for combat. And you might be able to beat a smaller ship if you have some rudimental weapons on there. But generally, I would say if you want to be safe returning from your exploration trip,
call your friends.
Call your friends, or have at least a halfway decent shield on the ship, so you have the chance of escaping if you get interdicted.
You can
just leave the instance as quickly as you can again.
You can contact Iridium Wing if they're still functional.
There
Iridium
are several
Wing is...
options out there, and I think they are still going. So you can call them up, and they will escort you in.
Iridium Wing is basically an escort service for explorers, and they will literally, in like military fashion, escort you from jump to jump as you return back to your station to make sure that you are safe. It's a fantastic, fantastic service. I don't know how active they are. I hope that they are still actively helping explorers. If you want to know more about them, actually, one of the very first broadcasts, if you look at the playlist, actually features Iridium Wing.
Yep, Ascorpus says he met them at LaveCon and they will escort you in.
There you go. So contact Iridium Wing and...
they're still active, guys, yeah.
So hard points, we could basically get rid of those, and I'm going to go ahead and do
unless
that
you want to have something fancy with you to have some shenanigans, just leave everything at home.
So we're going to get rid of those just to see what happens to our jump range. We're at 33.45. That goes up to 34.19. Let's put these ones into storage. And while I do this, you mentioned shields, like having shields to protect you against maybe getting interdicted.
The next thing we come to will be the optional internals, and the shields are, right up there. And that's probably the most important part you have to concern there. Daring explorers might want to go without shields just to get that extra little bit of jump range. Because a shield will also, of course, save you some power, so in turn you might again be able to pick a smaller power plant and stuff like that. But in general, I would recommend always going with a shield, because you do not only have to consider being interdicted when you return home, but you also have to consider that without a shield, any landing you do... Any landing, like even if you're really careful, you run the risk of taking damage when you touch down on a planet.
Just a tiny bit, maybe 1% or 2% damage on a landing.
But it will accumulate.
Yes.
So if you want to land on planets, if you have horizons, I know there's still some people out there who do not have it. I really recommend you grabbing that on the next sale. You might want to have shields, because else you will have to have repair limpets with you, and so that might be an interesting idea, which is like better if repair limpets are lighter or so than shields, but in general just go with shields.
Yeah, and repair limpets are limited. You can only carry so many of them, and I think carrying them actually increases your mass.
Yeah, but you can synthesize them.
Like Score brightly points out there, shieldless, return home, beluga in mail slot, wipes
boom,
you out.
and there goes all your exploration data.
Yeah.
So yeah, shields are a good idea. Next up, the next big part, of course, the fuel scoop. And there, I would really recommend you go with the biggest fuel scoop you can afford. Because with the fuel scoop, often the price is the limit.
Yes.
It doesn't have any mass, so it doesn't matter in that regard. It does have some energy requirement, but that's usually not too bad. The big point here is price, because the very big fuel scoops get very expensive.
Crazy.
They are usually even more expensive than your ship.
In many cases, with the bigger ships there.
Multiple times the cost of your ship sometimes.
Well, let's
even
see.
with the smaller ships. I mean, what's the 4A cost?
I'm going to go right now and take a look at that. Fuel scoops. Do they not sell fuel scoops here? Oh, there we go. Fuel scoop. A 4A goes for 2.86 million.
See, that's more expensive than the DBX itself.
Yep.
So there's that.
But it is going to save you a considerable amount of time while you're out there exploring.
You say, normally we'd never recommend anybody to take a B-rated anything, because they're the worst of weight and everything. But as fuel scoops don't weigh anything, you can take a B, and it will save you a lot of money.
It will save you a lot of money, but it will not. It will cost you some time, and sometimes even considerably. Because especially with those smaller ships like the DBX, that might be its only real downside for some people, is that even if you pick the biggest fuel scoop you can get, you're still gonna have to spend more time fuel scooping than you need to fly around the star and align yourself with the next jump. So you're gonna spend some extra time.
That also really depends on your exploration style. If you're just, buckyballing and trying to get somewhere quickly, then obviously the size of your fuel scoop is going to come into play, because you want to save as much time as possible. You're just going to honk, scan, fly to the next destination. But if you are exploring and you're going for, completionist, scan every moon, scan every planet, then the size of the fuel scoop is kind of irrelevant. Because
I have to say one thing. I did take the DBX out on the Distant Worlds expedition all the way, and it worked really well for me, because what I did was I scanned every star that I jumped to. I did a proper scan on the star, And that would actually take so long that by then, even with that pretty small fuel scoop, I would have completely refueled and be ready for the next jump.
You know,
of course, not everybody wants to do that, and in general, I don't recommend it because it's not really worth your time money-wise. But it did leave a trail of stars with my name on them out till Beagle Point and back. So there's that. Just consider how you want to explore. If you really want to buckyball and be super quick, then the DBX is not your choice. You need a ship that can equip a really big fuel scoop that will fill up the fuel tank really quickly.
Also, the fuel tank size is going to come into play as to how quickly your fuel scoop will complete.
Yeah, of course you can reduce the fuel tank size to fill up quicker, but that's not going to change anything because you're just going to run out of your tank quicker, and you're going to have to, you know, stop to actually refuel that sooner again.
And there's an interesting thing about fuel tanks too. The larger your fuel tank, the heavier your ship actually is. So your maximum jump range will be
that's
lower.
what I said. That's what I said. Why I actually picked a smaller fuel tank on distant worlds, because I did consider that. Because I am on my way back from Beagle Point. I did the westernmost crossing of the Abyss up there with my DBX. I basically collected a incredible amount of Jamponium materials to cross the Abyss as far west as possible. And for that, I actually needed to jump constantly on fumes, which means you only have just as much fuel in your tank to make the next jump. That is basically the maximum jump range your ship can have. But again, you're just going to have to constantly stop and refuel anyhow on the next star, because each jump still consumes the same amount of fuel, so you're just going to run out of your fuel tank quicker. So for general exploration, just leave the biggest fuel tank in there. You're not going to do you any favors.
Now, we've got the fuel scoop. The next on the list is obviously going to be an advanced discovery scanner if you want to make any money at all. So you're going to throw one of those onto your ship. That's basically going to allow you to honk.
The advanced discovery scanner is 1.5 million credits, so it might appear to be quite the chunk of money for new players.
For beginning
but it is going to be worth your time, because if you do not pick that up, or pick one of the smaller discovery scanners, you will not discover every object in a system with one honk. You will have to manually look for them. I mean, if you're not out there to scan any planets, that might work for you, but apart from the cost, there is really no disadvantage of picking that up, because it doesn't weigh much, it doesn't cost much energy and anything. So an explorer needs an advanced discovery scanner.
Yeah.
I'll just put it out there.
Because
if you honk with that, it will uncover every planetary object in the system. Everyone, no matter how far away it is.
Yeah, the intermediate one only scans the first 1,000 light seconds from the star.
And that's nothing. Like
it is nothing.
Out there, many of the objects you encounter are far out there.
Now, again, it does all depend on exploration style. If you cannot afford an advanced discovery scanner, there are ways to take advantage of the intermediate discovery scanner, which would be to do a little bit of research and find out what type of stars tend to have planets close to them.
Yeah, that works, but you might miss out on some of the
that extra million credits. It's worthwhile saving up and grabbing it before you go out on any exploration journey, because you will make your money back very, very quickly with that. Even in the bubble,
since the payout of exploration has been significantly increased.
Let's before we continue on with that, let's just take a quick look, because I did 21 jumps to get over here, and I was honking all the way just to show people what type of money you can get for that. If we go to Universal Cartographics, 21 jumps.
In the bubble, I mean, you jumped from the Pleiades here. Okay, there's most of the systems are undiscovered, but you have to keep in mind that in the bubble there are systems which are basically known to humanity, and you will not get any payout with a ADS scan or a detailed surface scan.
Regardless, only 21 jumps basically in the bubble. I've got the first page, 274,000 credits. Let's see how many pages I actually have for 21 jumps. Oh, that's it. So 21 jumps, I made $250,000, and that was in the bubble, and those were all discovered systems anyhow. If you do that outside the bubble and you get to areas where the stars have not been discovered, you will get incredibly, considerably higher payouts.
It just stacks up really, because you will do so many jumps, and some systems have a huge number of bodies, and some of them pay out quite well actually now. You will get quite the amount of money. But the real money, and also you have to say the real time investment in exploration, is if you actually go out there to scan, properly surface scan the planetary bodies.
Is this one right here, the detailed surface scanner, which I'm going to buy and throw onto this ship right now. It costs a cool $250,000 credits. And unfortunately on the DBX, you do not have a size 1 slot to put it into, so you're going to take up a size 2, which leaves you with 2 empty size 3 compartments. But the detailed surface scanner is for those of you who want to go out there and painstakingly catalog every system and really make a ton of money. I mean, there's argument over whether it's more efficient to just honk and jump, and it probably is ultimately more efficient.
But what the surface scanner also does for you, if you properly scan an object that hasn't been discovered by anybody else before, and you go back to a station and sell your data,
prestige.
Only then will you get your name first discovery of that object.
That's right.
The ADS, the advanced, the what's it called? Sorry.
ADS.
The discovery scanner, that will not get you any tags. Only if you actually fly towards the object, and depends on the size and mass of the object at what range it actually starts scanning. But you will have to fly to every planet and properly scan it, which takes around, I don't know, like 10 seconds or so, right?
Depends on the planet. Larger mass planets will scan faster.
No, if you get closer, they will scan faster.
If you scan fast.
It will take a while to do that. But that is where the prestige and that is where the big money is as well, because there are like terraformable worlds and Earth-like worlds and black holes and neutron stars. They will give you a considerable amount of money per scan.
Yep.
And,
and your name on everything, so that when people go out and say, oh, hey, look, that's a really cool nebula, and they jump in there, and every single planet in there says, this first discovered by Commander Josh Hawkins. That's right. I was there first.
And you're gonna scream, screw Commander Hawkins!
It's funny, though, because I've gotten actually to some really cool little places, and I'm like, oh wow, look at this, a planetary nebula, and I go in there and it's way off in the middle of nowhere, and of course it's discovered by some random commander. I'm like, that bastard. But then you look and you realize that the only thing that they did was scan the neutron star or the black hole, and they left all the planets and moons untouched because they just scanned it for the money. So what I do is I scan everything else.
Actually, but that's like actually a way that explorers like say, hey, look, I was here. Sometimes they do intentionally only scan one of the moons to leave their name on that one, and then leave the next moon up or whatever in the system to somebody else to scan, so they can put their name in there as well. And occasionally you will find systems with like many different commanders on there.
What's really funny though,
the next one in order and scan it.
You'll get into one of these planetary nebulas and you'll be like, oh, this guy scanned everything, and sometimes you get in there and they have quite a few planets and moons, and then you go and you see that like one planet is way out, and you just know, you're like, oh, they didn't want to go out there because it's too far. So you jump, you fly all the way out, you tag your name on, you're like, you just got that last moon in that system, so someone's gonna see you were there. But it's really funny because like if you do go to certain areas of space way out there, you will literally see that. And if you start following in certain areas, you'll realize that one commander has painstakingly cataloged that whole area, and you can tell, you know that you kind of know their exploration style, because you'll see they'll scan the first 3 planets or the first 2 planets, or they only scan planets within a certain range of the star.
You will find yourself doing exactly the same.
Well, it depends. When I mean, your exploration style may change, right? I mean, when I started out, I scanned every single planet and moon, and then after a while, I was just like, oh god, another moon. So, anyhow, moving right along, we now have two empty internal compartments. So, Greatest, what would we put in here?
On the DBX, it depends. For me, as a rock rat, naturally, top priority was to have an SRV on there as well.
Planetary vehicle hangar.
Yeah. I put a planetary vehicle hangar on there to have an to shenanigans, to drive around at the meetups, to explore planet surfaces, to collect Jumponium materials, stuff like that.
Now, at this station, unfortunately, they only have size 2, but this is a size 3 slot, which means you can...
No, there is only size...
There's only size 2?
Size 4.
Oh, size 4, right, and size 4.
There is size 6 as well, which can have 4 vehicles, but size 6, like, I've never put that on any ship, I think.
Say, Rock
on the bigger exploration ships, you might want to consider putting a class 4, or sometimes even 2 class 4 slots on there, because you then have some reserve vehicles in case you destroy your SRV.
Yeah.
But in this case, of course...
size 4s out to Beagle, because...
In this case, I would put a class
the 2G.
Yeah, because that 2G has lower mass.
Yep.
It does cost more power, but you can usually afford that more easily than the extra mass.
And you're going to put an SRV in there, of course. So we slap an SRV into that slot, which leaves us with one last empty internal compartment. And this one, you have quite a few choices, really.
Indeed.
You have a lot of different options.
Let me think. What did I put on there?
Well, common one is to take an AFMU.
Yeah.
That's what explorers
But
like
I
to
did
do.
not have an AFMU, that's why I'm...
I mean, I've never... No, I did. I carried one out to Beagle, and I only did 2% damage to the hull anyway, so... it was... I used it twice to repair some modules. So that's
my experience, I have to say, you do not need an AFMU.
Not really.
If you are a sloppy explorer and you tend to no, I mean that's totally fine. If you tend to crash it a lot because you're not paying much attention.
A sloppy explorer. I think Greatest just called me a sloppy explorer.
If you're a Josh grade explorer, you want to take 2 so that you can use them to repair each other as well.
Oh my god, yeah, you know what? And that's true. You can do that. You can take 2 and one can repair the other. But the AFMU is handy if, like Greatest said, you're a sloppy explorer like me who tends to fall into stars and crash into canyon walls and things like that.
I'd say... It's probably more useful than a repair limpet because, well, on the downside, you need to have a cargo slot as well.
What an AFMU does, it can repair your modules. You will have to drop into normal space for that, and so don't be in super cruise, else you will do an emergency dropout if you start repairing.
And let's face it, modules are more important than your hull.
Yes, but as Josh said, you cannot repair the AFMU itself. So if you really want to be like indefinitely sustainable out there, you would need 2 of them to repair each other.
But you would likely need a bigger ship to do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
Like Kurakenshi says, it's necessary if you're doing the neutron highway route, if you're doing a lot of neutron jumping.
Oh, okay, yeah. You know what? Actually,
ticking over.
You could you can get rid of the detailed surface scanner on the DBX if you're not going to be doing the painstaking surface scans. You could put a size 2 AFMU in the size 2 slot and then take a size 3 one as well, and that would allow you to do the repairing.
You always have options.
Yeah.
I mean, by all means, you're gonna have to fit your build how you feel suitable. What we do here is just a recommendation. Of the best base choice.
The DBX is better now because it has the 1 extra slot. It was terrible.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking I didn't have an AFMU on there because that slot didn't exist back then when I was out there. Now you can even put an AFMU on there and be all golden.
And
a bit of luxury with the bigger ships.
The other thing, the repair limpets are probably not as important because the hull damage doesn't really affect you in any way until it's 0. So I wouldn't pick up those. And yeah, you would also a cargo rack to get some So yeah.
Of course, you could also go with a passenger cabin. And if you are exploring, using passenger missions as kind of like a go-to for where you should go explore, and I think that's actually a really interesting aspect of the game, which didn't exist when I set off. But
yeah, I haven't done that myself either, but now that's incentive. If you have no want to go to the next station, see what passenger missions they have and where they want you to go to.
Some of them are quite far.
Pick one of those.
Yeah, some of the passenger missions will have you going all the way to, Beagle Point or Sagittarius A.
Yep.
So having a passenger cabin there could actually add a considerable amount of money to your exploration trip, and it gives you a goal as well. And I gotta say, for the fact that there are exploration passenger missions that give people sort of like a goal to go to, it's a great way to start off exploring so that you don't have to spend countless hours. Like, I cannot even tell you how many hours I have spent looking at the galaxy map trying to figure out where to go next. Because if you're completely aimless and you're just like, well, I'm gonna go explore, and you just set off, eventually you're gonna be like, well, what am I going to? And then you end up in this, I'm on the galaxy map and I'm scrolling through a million different stars. The passenger missions will actually say, hey, go here. There's something really cool, and the passenger will want to go there. And then you can make your journey out to there, scan along the way, get the scan on the passenger missions or whatever it is, and then return back and get paid a ton of money.
And you will find something cool at the end, because all those passenger destinations, like those POIs or whatever they call, they are hand-picked by the FDev staff.
Because they were players
always
that wanted to do them.
out there. Yeah,
I mean,
those are actually submissions by players, most of them out there, and accepted by FDev themselves.
Just taking a quick look at the passenger lounge right here. I mean, straight off the bat, there's one for 23 million to go to the center and collect data. I'm assuming they mean the core. 27 million, again, black hole core. So, you know, for an extra 30 million credits, it's certainly a nice bonus if you plan on doing the trip anyhow.
Keep in mind that some of these passengers can be really annoying secondary requirements. So watch out for that. Like, some of them, they do not want to have any damage to the ship, and once you like drop into a star just once and cook yourself, they jump out of the airlock or whatever. I don't know. I've never done one, but just watch out for that.
Just watch out for the contingencies of, or the, you know, whatever it is that particular...
Of having a little snob on your ship that tells you what to do.
Depends on who you get, of course, but adding an extra 30 million credits to your journey is certainly a nice cream or, you know, topping on the cake. When you come back and you just turn it in, it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And if you planned on going there anyhow, you could always look for passenger missions that will take you to places that you want to see, because if you scroll through them, some of them, like one wants to go to the core, another one wants to go see a planetary nebula. So depending on what you want to see, you can look through the passenger missions and they will actually give you that destination. Finding planetary nebula is incredibly hard, unless you go online and you go to ones that other people have found. But, you know, trying to find an undiscovered one.
We only have 5 minutes left, so let's wrap this up a bit. I see a comment in there about the engineers. The two main engineers that you might need for an exploration ship, namely Farseer and Martuk, there's something a bit special about those, because you can actually increase your standing with them by selling exploration data to them. So I do recommend you all do that, because it's the easiest way to get them instantly to grade 5. You need like something like, I don't know, 10 million credits or so to get them to grade 5. Yeah, so that's a good way. And then also in the optional internal modules, we haven't really talked about engineering stuff. There are no engineering mods in there that are too important. I can't think of a shield mod that would like benefit you in any way. I don't lightweight, unless, correct me if I'm wrong. And the fuel scoop, I don't think you can engineer. Your scanner, like the surface scanner, for example, I think you can actually engineer. You can actually engineer it for faster scan rate, which might be good. so you don't have to spend as much time sitting in front of a planet waiting till the scan has finally finished. So that might be worth considering. But apart from that, I don't really think there's any important modifications in the optional modules. No, I think, yeah, long distance or fast scanner, you have both options. I think I would always go for the fast scanner, because sometimes you drop out really close to planets that you can basically instantly start to scan. So overall, I think a fast scanner will be more efficient.
Those are the best systems when you drop out and you have several small planets that are within 60 light seconds of the star.
Yeah.
Just scan them. You don't even have to move your ship. You can actually scan them through the star as well if they're on the opposite side. You just got to target them. Easy way to use your Discovery scanner. Yeah,
then we still have the utility mounts. You don't really need anything on there. You might consider taking heatsinks with you. They are not needed though. Like, yeah, occasionally you might drop out into a star, and when jumping out, you might cook yourself a bit, and in that occasion, a heatsink might help you. But that shouldn't happen to you. And if it happens, yeah, you lose some % on your hull or on your modules. But that usually is not of no concern if you don't do it too often. So just save the weight on those and leave them at home, I'd say. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think
that's pretty much
all you need to know about setting up a proper good exploration ship.
Are there any other questions in chat that anything we missed?
Because they're talking about belugas. I've just ran a quick experimental beluga build through here with a 3A power plant in it, actually.
Yeah, and the Dolphin is actually also a pretty good exploration ship, a pretty good small exploration ship that's easily affordable. Has fantastic range.
You'd have to be lucky on your FSD 5 roll, but you could get 41 light years out of a beluga if you strip it down. Which is
again, you can bring anything out there really. These with engineers and especially with Pony everywhere you want to get.
There was Jumponium. That was the last thing we said we would talk about that. So Jumponium.
Yeah, it's not like I myself don't use it that much these days anymore, because you have to collect materials for it and you have to do it manually for each jump. But if you do stuff like the Jumponium Highway, for example, the neutron star boost, if you combine a neutron star boost with a Jumponium boost, you can get incredible ranges out of one single jump. So for that, yes, it's worth it.
Speaking of neutron star,
we've got an extra 13 minutes because of the late start.
That is true. We actually have 10 minutes left. So you know what? Here, let's take advantage of those 10 minutes. And for explorers, let's take a look at the galaxy map, because this is a very important part of exploration. So obviously,
how far away are you from Jackson's Lighthouse?
Jackson's Lighthouse?
Yeah, that's where the expedition is going to take off on Friday from.
Let's take a look.
250.
I am
actually probably
152.
Oh no, you're there. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that would only be like 5 jumps, but.
Is there a reason that you would want me to jump out there right now, or?
Well, it's the only neutron star in the bubble, so you could have like shown people how to.
How to do a neutron star boost? In 10 minutes.
Boosting your FSD is actually quite a dangerous operation. Many people have died to that. So only do it if you know what you're doing, please.
Yeah, I'd actually. I'd rather spend the time just showing people how to use the galaxy map for exploration.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. I'm just saying, don't do it if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you have an option in here for use jet cone boost. Now, obviously, in the bubble, that's really not going to come into play. Like Greatest said, there's only one neutron star there, and that's at Jackson Lighthouse.
A couple of dwarves, but that's it.
And even once you head out into the deeper parts of the galaxy, if you stay relatively close to the galactic plane, you're not going to find a lot of neutron stars. Neutron stars are typically found 1,500 or 2,000 light years above the galactic plane. So if you do want to use neutron boosts, open up your galaxy map like this. You want to take a look at these numbers that you see right here on the grid, minus 1300, minus 33, 9900. That middle number represents your position in relation to the galactic plane. So if it is at 0, if you target a star that's here, for example, you are in perfect alignment with the galactic plane. And you'll find very few neutron stars around here. Once you go up to... Yeah, or up or down, whatever direction you want to go. When you hit around 1200 or 1500, then you'll start to see more neutron stars. And you can pretty much do that, well, very close to the bubble. But you have to still go out, I think, around 1500 light years or 2000 light years from the bubble before you start hitting neutron stars. But this is kind of like the interesting part of the galaxy is when you are around 1200 or more light years above the galactic plane. Depending on where you are, I mean, you're still going to have decent jump. There's going to be plenty of stars to refuel, but you'll start to find things like giant stars, neutron stars, black holes. There's going to be a lot more of them. If you're looking for really cool places or cool things to see, those are the things that you'll want to go for. Personally, I am a huge fan of giant stars. Giant stars,
yeah, me too.
They can really have some incredible things in their systems, and
all those O types as well. I love their
very bright
purplish light.
Here is a giant star right here. I just found one. They're not hard to spot on the galaxy map. You'll get used to it very quickly, and like I said, the higher up you go, the more, or lower you go, the more common they'll be, but you can spot them pretty quick. They're much larger than the other stars. They show up as like a big bright one here.
If you switch to your info tab on the left hand side there, it actually says which star class it is when you hover over it.
Yeah. Just to confirm it for you.
But you can see, I mean, visually giant stars appear different than the rest. So that's what a giant star looks like right over there. And that's 10,000 light years out, of course, so we're not going to jump there today. However, if you are looking for them, they make really cool screenshots. You'll get some really cool things. Hopefully. I mean, sometimes you'll jump in there, it's just a star and there's nothing else. But if you're really lucky, you'll get a planet close to the giant star. And then when you land on that planet, you really get things put into perspective as to how big that star actually is. Or if you get a giant star that has another star orbiting it in very close proximity, again, you'll get some really cool screenshots with that. Josh is a size queen. Yes, I am a size queen. So giant stars really cool, neutron stars really cool, white dwarfs are really cool, any Herbig AE stars, anything that shows up. If you look on the star list here, you can go to the map. Wolf-Rayets, white dwarfs, non-sequence stars, all of these ones down in the bottom here, they're really cool. Carbon stars, nothing really special about them. Protostars, really nothing special about them. The LT and Ys...
You can also use that view right there to determine which stars are scoopable, which are the top ones up until M-type stars.
OBA, F, G, K, and M. Anything after that is not scoopable.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, from this view, you won't actually see giant stars. You will be able to see, however, neutron and black hole stars will pop up much easier. And the protostars like the L, T, and Y, like I said, there's really nothing special about those. If you're looking for cool systems, F and G types tend to house a lot of Earth-like worlds. And the unfortunate thing about those two stars is that they are very hot, so often you have to fly far from the star to scan the planets. But I find that they're probably the most profitable ones is F, G, and maybe Ks. O and B class stars are really cool to look at. They have really cool colors in the systems, especially if you get like ring planets in there. Really interesting things to see. And then the K and M's are just kind of look like home. They look like the Sol system. You'll get some Earth-likes in there as well, but I find that the population of them is a little lower than the G's. So yeah, that's about it. Anything else you want to add, Greatest or Turgeon?
I can't think of much, no.
Oh, actually, yeah, very quickly here. So economical, interesting thing about economical. If you plot an economical course, you're not going to have to do a lot of fuel scooping. So if, let's say, for example, you do want to chart a particular sector of space, you can do it on economical, and you'll make a ton of money doing it because you're just going to be jumping from like one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and you can do this all in a little area here. I think you can also travel quite far on economical without having to fuel scoop. Because
it will increase your range, but if you have a anyhow, pretty much on every jump, you will fuel scoop at least a little bit, and it's going to be way more than you consume on an economical route. So you're going to stay topped off pretty much constantly.
Yeah. If you go fastest route, obviously that's going to be more for buckyballing or just getting to whatever your destination. You can use the jet cone boost, like we said. That'll give you the neutron star options, and it'll add neutron stars to your route. Just watch your fuel, because you will run out if you're in a very neutron star-rich area. It's not going to target any fuel scoops. Well, forget about the FSD boost. One thing that you can do if you're out exploring is spend time in this view of the map, the realistic view without the grid on. And if you're in a particular area, you can scroll around the map like this. I usually take the star names off, and this is how you will find things like planetary nebula. One of the things that I do is, as I'm scrolling, I look for the stars that appear at the furthest distance, because sometimes those can be very interesting. So like there's a star right over here that you'll see is there for a really long time. This one right there. I don't know what it is. It's probably just an F or a G, but
yeah.
If you do this,
I did that as well.
If you do this and spend a considerable time, you'll get familiar with different star types and how far they'll show up, and you'll also maybe, possibly, find planetary nebula. This little guy down here, there we go. This one here has a nice little glow to it. Sometimes those are interesting systems as well. There are several of those scattered throughout the galaxy. They tend to be discovered. I don't know what's so special about them, but they do have a glow with them. Sometimes they'll be like triple stars or things like that.
That you can see from, like, if you zoom really far out, those are the stars that actually make up the galaxy glow itself, I think, those glowing stars.
That could be what it is. Like, here's another one right over here.
Mm.
I
didn't see anything particularly specially with them otherwise.
No, here's another one right over here. But they do tend to be discovered because people jump to them. I think, again, just because they stand out, right? But, you know, make sure you scan the skies. Look around, because it's really easy to miss things. The galaxy is huge. It's an enormous place. And if you spend some time on the galaxy map just scrolling through, you will find cool things. Now, unfortunately with that, we need to wrap up the show because our 2 hours is up. So let's say a very happy New Year's to all of you guys. It was great to see you. We will see you again next Sunday. Can we get some outro music, please? Turgeon Starstone.
I've turned the soundboard.
We got no outro music, so thanks for watching the Brocast. If you enjoyed the show, please go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to get notifications. Turn those notifications on. It's a little bell next to the subscribe button.
Thank you all for joining, and I hope to see the expedition.
And Greatess is completely cutting off. So thanks a lot for joining. We hope to see you on the expedition. That's what he's saying. Stay tuned, join our Discord channel, and we will see you guys all next Sunday for another Brocast. This is Commander Josh Hawkins signing off.